So yeah, welcome everybody to the 2115 Aspen updates in an instant. It's the last updates in an instant of the year, but we'll be back beginning of January with another one. And this one is crammed full. We've got a ton of stuff to go over. First thing you'll notice in the release notes, we have updated this so that you can see after we get this deployed to you, there are a few things that you should probably check into. You don't have to. Aspen will obviously continue to work fine as is, but there's definitely some settings and things that are worth checking. And then at the very bottom as well, we're going to skip down to the bottom. We also have some different testing suggestions. So for people that have a test system or that anybody wants to play on our Aspen test system, there's some ideas of things to look at just based off some of the changes. So I'm not going to share the app today. It will be available in app stores. So the beta version should be available. Kirsten, we're thinking tomorrow, maybe early next week at the latest. So the big things that we are going to see in the app are a lot of the browse category things that we will talk about here in a second. So being able to hide browse categories, being able to see lists or see my lists, see my saved searches as browse categories. That'll make a little bit more sense here in a second when we go through it. The account screen has also changed a little bit just to make it a little easier to use with some of the new settings that we have. So let's dive in and look at the browse category updates. And as Chanel mentioned earlier, there was a Aspen Weekly that Jordan did that came out this morning. So if you want more details on that, please read that Aspen Weekly because this is really cool. So let me first show you from an admin perspective. We're going to go in. We have two new browse categories for you. We're going to go in to the home page. We're going to go down to the local catalog enrichment to the browse category groups, and we'll edit those. There are two new ones. There's your saved searches and your lists. These are added but not enabled by default. And that just lets you rearrange them however you want them. So our recommendation would probably be to put recommended for you, your saved searches, your lists up towards the front of your browse categories. They'll only show when patrons are logged in. And what that's going to do, so we added those manually. And then if I log in as a patron, there we go. So we're logged in. If I go back to the browse, so now we've got recommended for you, we've got your saved searches, and we have your lists. This obviously means that the patron has to have something saved and they have to have lists, or those won't show up. If I click on your saved searches, so here we've got rock climbing and skiing. If I want to make something else show up, so let's continue with the sports theme. Let's look for kayaking. So there we've got kayak. So we've got our canoeing. We've got kayaking. All kinds of good stuff. We're scrolling down here towards the bottom. We've got the save search. So we're going to save that search. We're going to call that kayaking. Save that. And now when we go back to our home page, if we look at our saved searches, that will show up as soon as the cache expires. And we will have your saved searches there, or we will have kayaking there. Let's see what we can do to get that to show right away. Same thing for your list. So we have the ability to show my favorites, kids' books, all things Harry. What it's going to do here is show the first 5 that you have created so that you can easily do that. So this is just really a great way for patrons to be able to personalize the catalog to themselves. The other thing we've done here is say, so if I'm somebody who really hates horror movies and I don't want to see these Friday the 13th books and movies and stuff, I now have the ability to hide that. Or if I've read every single Magic Treehouse book. I can hide those as well. So basically, this just lets us personalize to the patron. So I don't have to see every single thing as we're doing browse categories and setting up browse categories for libraries or for patrons. We like to give them a broad idea of what we have in the catalog, which means that there will always be something that a patron doesn't necessarily want to see. So we want to give them the ability to do that. So if they want to get those back, there is a show hidden browse categories down at the bottom. Click on that, and then they can re-enable those. So if we wanted to re-enable Friday the 13th of the Magic Treehouse, we could. So that's all really cool. And in the app, it all functions the same way. If you've got a browse category, there's going to be a little hide button next to it. Then if you click on the show hidden browse categories, it's going to take you to a page where you can manage all of those and turn them on or off. Another big thing that we've done is Overdrive integration. So everybody's gotten that email of, hey, we're introducing a new API, how to do the fulfillment. That is now integrated. So if we go into my account for Samwise, he's got a bunch of things checked out through Overdrive. So let's go into those Overdrive materials. This is currently enabled. This is another thing that is off by default. Since Overdrive doesn't require it, we wanted to give people time to transition before they turn it off, kind of on their own timeline. So if there's messaging you want to do to patrons, you can. So let's just click on Listen Online for this. So this will pop up a new dialog that lets you listen to it in the browser, or if you want to click on it, you can click on it for the app and download the MP3. There's also this little promo for Libby. And then if you click Listen Now in browser, it just takes you straight over to a reader. It's really kind of a cool experience, especially with Aspen, because it doesn't require Libby at all. So it's a nice way to kind of keep people in Aspen or in Lida. If you want to, so let's go in real quick. So there is, I'm going to sign out, sign back in as our administrator. If we go to our Overdrive settings, we do have a couple of options here. So this is where we say enable the updated checkout fulfillment interface, and whether or not that Libby promo is shown in the checkout fulfillment interface. So you can opt out to showing that Libby thing, and it won't ask them for their phone number to see if they want to get Libby. And then you can toggle back and forth between the old way and the new way. So those are all really cool options, and I really like the way that's working. Oh, and there was a question about, will the browse category personalizations be exposed via the API? Through the API, you would get what is visible to them. So if they turn it off, then it would be turned off. We do have APIs to turn those on and off. So definitely functionality if you've got your own app that you could build in as well. And then if a hidden browse category is deleted by the admins while it's hidden, yeah, they just wouldn't see it in the hidden browse categories in the patron account. So next big thing we want to show, donations. So we have the ability now to do donations, which is really cool. So in our e-commerce settings, there's a whole new donation settings. This lets you configure it. It can be configured into as many groups as you want. So you could configure it by library. You can configure it by groups of library. You can just do one for your whole install. You could change it for different times a year if you wanted. So you could have like a holiday giving. You could have a just different forms to have different content. So here's basically you can choose to let people have a specific branch that they want to send donations to, earmarks, do dedications, page content shows at the top of it, and then the email is sent at the end of it. You can choose different dollar amounts, all kinds of great configurations. We're probably going to do an Aspen Weekly on this maybe next week or the following week. So we'll go through all the configurations a little bit more as well. But let's just see how this looks. So if we go in, we can say donate to the library. This link, so the donation/new donation, is a hidden link, similar to things like the staff view. So you will need to add your own menu link to that someplace, where you can control where it is. So you can link to it from your website or link to it from the Aspen menus. Then patron just picks how much to donate. I'm going to donate $100. I'm going to support story time because stories are awesome. And we're going to donate to the main branch. I'm going to change my name. And then we go through the regular e-commerce payment. You can't see it because it's popped up on top of my screen. But basically, it just gives me the regular login. So I'm going to log in, just pay that real quick. This is just through our Sandbox account, so we're paying that. That shows up, and it'll say that the payment's been completed, or once that's done, or if there's an error, it will show the error. From an admin side, then, you can see in your administration, if we go into your e-commerce and your e-commerce report, you can see those payments. So we can see that, hey, this was a donation that was paid, and we get actual information about, in this case, the PayPal transit order and transaction, as well as how much it is, so that you can kind of cross-reconcile all of that. And then it's showing like where it was paid from, all kinds of good information there. So other things, there's no way, well, we're supposed to be done. We're going to do 2 more, and I'm going to take you along, sorry. So 2 more quick things we want to show. We've added the ability to do course reserves. Right now, this is limited to Symphony libraries. So in this case, Yavapai Library Network has course reserves. We're going to look at their Embry-Riddle, or Embry-Riddle. University has some course reserves. We can now do a search. So this is a search kind of similar to like lists. So here we can search. We can see all of the different course reserves that they have. We get information about like how many titles are on the list and that kind of thing. Then we can click into those to get information about it. Students can place holds if holds are available, but they can see that. They can also then, of course, search by course number. So if we wanted to look for like AE 420, we can do that search. Or if we knew that our instructor was Ashworth, we can do that. So just a nice way to integrate that. And that's something where right now, again, limited to Symphony libraries. And then depending on demand, we can look at broadening that out to other ILSs as well. Then the last thing we wanted to show is we've got now an Arabic interface. So I'm just going to go to the home page here on our test system. And this was done with partnership with KnowledgeWare in Saudi Arabia. They provided a lot of the translation and the coding to do that. And here's our Arabic. So we can now see that we have Arabic. And if we do a search, let's just search for, I need to search in English, not Arabic, because my Arabic's not very good. So there's Bambi, and it's all right to left. So it's presented in a natural way so that users get their best possible experience. And we have nearly completely translated. There's a couple of things that we have enabled on our test server that they didn't have enabled on their test server. So a few additional things that we're still working on translating, but it's a really great interface. So for anybody that has an Arabic population, that's something that we can start pushing out to everyone. So yeah, thanks to all of our partners for helping us build really cool things. That's not by any means everything that we did this release, but that is the highlights. Well, we're all very excited to roll this out to you. Like they said in the chat, this will be on anybody who's in implementations or who has a test server. We'll roll that out to you tonight. So please give us any feedback that you have if you see anything. And then next Tuesday night, it will roll out to all production servers and anybody who's already soft launched, so that it will be available then for you Wednesday morning. So yeah, thanks everybody. We're very excited to roll this out to you.